You don't lose respect because of what you say. You lose respect because of what you transmit without realizing it. Wrong posture, unstable energy, lack of self control. Respect disappears before the first word. The good news? This is trainable, adjustable, reversible. Have you ever walked into a room and felt that someone commanded presence without saying a word? This is not visible social status, it is a striking presence. It comes from well developed self esteem, inner security, and emotional maturity. People like this do not ask for attention, they receive automatic respect. The secret lies in silent authority, aligned posture, centered mind, stable personal energy, no anxiety in gestures, no rush in the eyes. This activates psychological power and creates personal magnetism. People sense firmness, composure, serenity, and self control before you even open your mouth. Real presence is natural assertion, not effort. It is natural leadership that is born within and manifests outwardly. Those who master themselves influence the environment without needing to prove anything. But if the body speaks before words, what exactly is your posture communicating right now? Before any word, the body has already decided everything. Slouched posture communicates insecurity. Aligned shoulders, open chest, and head held high communicate silent confidence. It is not acting, it is inner security translated into physical form. The right body language activates automatic respect because it conveys inner strength, firmness, and silent authority. People with emotional maturity occupy their own bodies naturally, nothing rigid, nothing tense, relaxed yet stable. That is composure. Whoever controls the body controls the message. Clean gestures, few movements, firm presence. This combination creates personal magnetism, reinforces social status, and expands social influence without a single verbal explanation. It is psychological power in its purest form. Now think, if your posture were a sentence, would it inspire respect or ask for permission? And if posture defines impact, what happens when you learn to occupy space with your body? Those who occupy little space communicate submission. Closed shoulders, arms pressed against the body, short steps. Those who occupy space naturally, on the other hand, convey self-esteem, inner security, and silent authority without effort. Occupying space is not exaggeration, it is natural assertion. Firm legs, open stance, movements that do not ask for permission. This generates automatic respect because it signals inner strength, emotional maturity, and mastery of one's own body. People with natural leadership do not shrink. They position themselves. The body says, I belong in this place. This behavior elevates social status, increases personal magnetism, and reinforces psychological power. Everything happens before speech. When the body claims space, the mind follows. Composure, firmness, serenity, and self-control become visible. Presence grows. Social influence grows as well. The next level is not in the size of the gesture, but in its speed. Movement that is too fast reveals anxiety. Bodily haste communicates loss of control. Slow movement, on the other hand, conveys inner security, self-control, and silent authority. Those in command do not rush. Each slow gesture reinforces psychological power. Walking calmly, turning the body without impulse, sitting without abrupt drops. This projects firmness, composure, and serenity. The body shows that the mind is stable. Conscious slowness creates automatic respect because it suggests clarity and command of the situation. Emotionally mature people do not waste energy. They conserve movement and concentrate presence. This pattern increases personal magnetism, social status, and social influence. Slow movement is not weakness. It is refined control. It is natural leadership expressed without words. Personal energy becomes dense, perceptible, and hard to ignore. When the body slows down, the environment slows down with it. Calmness is a clear sign of psychological power. Those who lose emotional control lose authority. Those who remain calm convey inner security, emotional maturity, and command of the situation, even under pressure. Serenity creates automatic respect because it shows real self-control. Steady voice, neutral expression, restrained reactions. Nothing is exaggerated, nothing is reactive. This posture strengthens silent authority and expands social influence. Calm people impose presence without raising their voice. They maintain firmness without aggression and composure without rigidity. This generates personal magnetism and elevates social status naturally. Calmness is not passivity. It is a conscious choice. It is natural leadership based on internal control. When you remain calm, the environment organizes itself around you. The next level of authority is not in what you say, but in how you say it. The rhythm of speech reveals emotional control. It is not speed, it is intention. Those who rush their words reveal anxiety. Those who speak without variation lose presence. The right rhythm conveys inner security, emotional maturity, and firmness. Knowing when to accelerate, when to slow down, and when to pause activates psychological power. The listener perceives silent authority because they feel direction in the communication. This generates automatic respect without the need to impose anything. Conscious variation of rhythm increases social influence and reinforces natural leadership. The message gains weight, presence grows, and personal energy stabilizes. Each sentence occupies space. No word is wasted. Assertive communication is not about speaking more or less. It is about speaking with control. This elevates social status, creates personal magnetism, and strengthens the perception of natural authority. When the rhythm is under control, the gaze becomes the next element of impact. Proper eye contact communicates inner security and self-control. A firm, steady, and relaxed gaze activates automatic respect because it conveys silent confidence and silent authority without confrontation. Avoiding eye contact weakens presence. Staring too intensely creates unnecessary tension. Balance shows emotional maturity, composure, and a mastery of the interaction. This pattern reinforces psychological power and expands social influence. Those who sustain eye contact naturally occupy a position of natural leadership. The body remains aligned, personal energy stabilizes, and personal magnetism increases. Nothing is forced. Nothing is invasive. Well-used eye contact elevates social status and creates natural authority. It communicates that you are present, attentive, and comfortable with yourself. After generating respect through eye contact, the next step is learning how to use it without pressure. A powerful gaze does not pressure, it connects. Staring too much creates discomfort. Constantly looking away communicates insecurity. Balance demonstrates inner security, emotional maturity, and self-control. Alternating eye contact with natural pauses maintains silent authority without aggression. A relaxed face, neutral expression, and aligned body reinforce composure and serenity. This subtly activates automatic respect. Well-measured eye contact expands social influence and strengthens personal magnetism. It signals genuine attention and natural leadership without a power struggle. This posture elevates social status and creates natural authority without tension. When eye contact is used consciously, presence becomes comfortable and dominant at the same time. Personal energy stabilizes and communication flows with firmness. After the gaze, true power appears in the way you listen. Listening well is an advanced form of psychological power. Those who interrupt too much seek control. Those who listen attentively convey inner security, emotional maturity, and silent authority. Active listening demonstrates self-control and composure. Attentive gaze, directed body, and restrained reactions show real presence. This behavior creates automatic respect because it signals mastery of the interaction. Those who know how to listen strengthen social influence and exercise natural leadership without needing to compete for space. The other person feels safe, valued, and more open. This increases personal magnetism and elevates social status. Listening is not submission, it is strategy. It is natural authority through attention. Personal energy becomes stable and the environment responds with greater respect. When you truly listen, the other person begins to feel important. When someone realizes that their ideas are not being ignored, their behavior changes. The person positions themselves differently, speaks more clearly, and becomes more involved. This alters the invisible hierarchy of the conversation. Making the other person feel important is not about praising or agreeing with everything. It is about showing that you understood. It is about responding with precision, without exaggeration, without haste, without competing for space. Those who act this way guide the interaction without seeming like they are guiding it. The conversation flows, tension decreases, and the other person begins to respect the rhythm you establish. This type of posture creates more balanced relationships and makes your presence be taken seriously without effort. The problem begins when the person tries to compensate for this by talking too much. Talking too much is almost never an excess of content. It is an excess of justification. The more someone feels the need to explain everything, the more they lose impact in what they say. When speech has no filter, the message becomes diluted. The conversation loses focus, the other person loses interest, and presence weakens. Not because of a lack of value, but because of a lack of economy. Consistent people choose when to speak. They do not respond to everything, comment on everything, or react to everything. This selection creates weight. Each sentence begins to matter more. Reducing words does not erase you, it organizes you. And when speech decreases, another tool begins to gain strength. Silence is not the absence of a response, it is a choice. When you do not fill every space, you create time for the other person to adjust, reflect, and reposition themselves. Well-placed silence changes the rhythm of the conversation. It breaks impulses, slows down conflicts, and makes the other person reconsider what they just said. Without confrontation, without extra explanation. Those who know how to use silence do not rush to react. They observe, they wait, and they respond only when the response truly adds something. This shifts the balance of the interaction. Remaining silent at the right moment makes the conversation work in your favor. And the more strategic the silence, the more value there is in the next statement. When you speak less, you begin to notice things that once went unnoticed. Changes in tone, awkward pauses, defensive gestures, rushed agreements. Reading the environment becomes clearer. Observing more is not being passive, it is gaining information. Those who observe understand the right moment to step in, the weak point of an argument, and the real mood of the situation. This posture prevents impulsive reactions and poorly calculated decisions. The response becomes more precise, cleaner, and harder to ignore. The less you rush to speak, the more control you have over the direction of the interaction. And that is exactly what sparks curiosity. Silence breaks expectation. When someone does not deliver everything immediately, the other person starts paying more attention, trying to understand intentions, limits, and positioning. Not revealing everything at once creates space for interpretation. The conversation becomes denser, less predictable. This changes how you are perceived within the interaction. Silence also prevents you from over-explaining or justifying yourself unnecessarily. It maintains control over the rhythm and avoids excessive exposure. The less predictable you are, the more interest you generate. And this effect becomes even more evident in social environments. In social environments, those who try too hard to stand out usually lose strength. Those who maintain a steady posture, participate at the right moment, and do not compete for attention end up being taken more seriously. The way you enter a conversation, react to comments, and choose when to position yourself defines your place in the group. It is not about speaking louder, but about speaking when it makes sense. Consistent presence creates reference. People begin to observe more, listen better, and adjust their behavior around you. Everything happens without announcement, without visible effort. Social environments function like mirrors. When you control yourself, the environment organizes itself. And at work, this logic becomes even clearer. At work, respect does not come from constant pressure or a raised voice. It comes from clarity. When you speak objectively, set boundaries, and maintain the same behavior in any situation, people adjust. Those who change their posture according to their mood lose credibility. Those who are predictable, firm, and coherent inspire confidence. This reduces conflicts, avoids power games, and improves team response. Professional respect is born from consistency between words and actions. Fulfilling what you promise, correcting without humiliating, and not tolerating disrespect, disguised as a joke, creates a more balanced environment. When there is no fear, there is real cooperation, and everything begins from the inside out. When confidence is real, it shows without effort. It appears in the way you enter a place, respond to criticism, and stand by decisions without over-explaining. Those who trust their own judgment do not need to defend themselves all the time. The body relaxes, speech becomes more organized, and reactions become more predictable. This changes how others position themselves in relation to you. Inner confidence eliminates the need for constant approval. You do not seek validation, do not compete for space, and do not lose yourself trying to please everyone. When this happens, external posture aligns naturally. And the next step is understanding where everything truly begins. Self-respect appears in the choices you stand by, not in the words you say. It is knowing where to give in and where not to. It is not accepting certain behaviors just to avoid discomfort. When you respect yourself, your boundaries become clear without needing to be announced. People sense how far they can go. This reduces tests, provocations, and subtle acts of disregard. Self-respect is also coherence, acting in accordance with what you believe even when no one is watching. This consistency creates a solid foundation for any type of relationship. Without self-respect, all external respect is unstable. And this is exactly where many people confuse respect with fear. Fear forces momentary obedience. Respect builds lasting influence. Those who act through fear need to monitor constantly. Those who are respected do not. Fear distances, silences, and creates internal resistance. Respect brings people closer, generates cooperation, and maintains stable relationships. One controls through immediate impact, the other sustains through example. Feared people are obeyed in public and questioned behind their backs. Respected people are followed even when they are not present. This difference defines the type of presence you build, and it becomes evident in any environment you enter. Strong presence does not depend on the place. It depends on consistency. When you act the same way in different environments, people quickly understand who you are and how to deal with you. Entering calmly, observing before taking a position, and not trying to adapt too much creates stability. This stability makes the environment adjust to you, not the other way around. Strong presence comes from the combination of posture, timing, and reaction. It is not intensity, it is coherence. Those who maintain this pattern do not need to assert themselves. They are naturally perceived. Wherever you arrive, the dynamic shifts. And that is exactly the opposite of being invisible. Social invisibility happens when you adapt too much. You agree with everything, avoid taking a position, and fade into the group. Over time, the people stop seeing you as a reference. Stopping being invisible begins with small decisions. Entering the conversation at the right moment, holding a simple opinion, and not backing down without reason already changes perception. It is not about drawing attention, it is about consistency. When your reactions follow a clear pattern, people begin to notice, remember, and take you into account. Healthy visibility emerges when you stop hiding, and that opens space to lead without imposing. Leading is not about dominating the environment. It is about directing movement. Those who shout try to compensate for a lack of control. Those who truly lead maintain clarity and a firm posture even under pressure. Objective decisions, short responses, and predictable behavior make people adjust naturally. There is no need to raise your voice when the message is clear. Leadership without imposition generates real buy-in. People collaborate because they understand the direction, not because they feel pressured. This sustains results in the long term. When leadership is silent, the body speaks louder than the voice. And that is when nonverbal communication takes the lead. Before any word is spoken, the body has already delivered the message. Misaligned posture confuses, excessive gestures distract, incoherent expressions weaken what is being said. Effective nonverbal communication is simple and clean. Purposeful movements, controlled expression, and stable posture make presence clearer and easier to interpret. When body and speech are aligned, the message gains strength without extra effort. People understand, respond, and adjust more quickly. Those who master their body reduce noise in communication, and this activates an almost automatic reaction. People respond to patterns. When someone acts in a predictable, coherent, and controlled way, the other person's brain quickly understands how to behave around them. Automatic respect arises when there is no contradiction between posture, reaction, and decision. Those who change all the time create confusion. Those who maintain a clear line generate immediate adjustment around them. The human brain seeks stability. When it encounters someone who does not react impulsively, does not over-explain, and does not lose emotional control, it begins to treat that person with more caution and consideration. This is not a conscious process, it is an instinctive response, and small adjustments already produce big changes. Deep changes almost never begin with something big. They start with simple, consistent adjustments. A bit more pause before responding, less impulsive reaction, more clarity in choices. When these adjustments repeat, perception changes. People begin to read you better, predict your behavior, and position themselves differently around you. It is not immediate transformation, it is accumulation. Each small change reinforces the previous one until the impact becomes evident without announcement or visible effort. Those who understand this change their own presence over time. And when presence changes, everything around it responds. This channel is free and only exists because of people like you. Become a member and help this content continue reaching more lives. If this message spoke to you, subscribe, share it with someone who needs to hear it today, turn on notifications and stay strong in this daily battle called UVSU.